Good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of KTN SCORELINE. My name is Moses Wakisi. There is a lot that is happening in the world of sports, and today's menu, trust you me, it is one that you don't have a reason to miss. Remember, the viewers for KTN Home will be broadcasting the live match, and that is between Liverpool against Southampton. Kickoff time will be 5 p.m. But before that, it's all about what is happening in the world of sports, and we have the local menu. The Kenyan Premier League is back, and a lot of action is expected there. We know that Gor Mahia are the champions, but the other teams are doing some chase up, and they're saying we want to do it with some style. The National Super League is also on that menu, and a lot is happening in the National Super League. At the same time, there is a lot that is happening in the Premier League, that's the English Premier League, and there is a lot of expectations in regards to who will have the final laugh in all the matches that will be on that menu today. But before all that, we will start with rugby, where our very own Kevin Kimathi has been pitching camp in the RFA grounds. I know, Kevin Kimathi, if you can hear me, there is a lot about the love of sports, but for you, there is a lot of love of women, and that's why you're there, just to tell us what is happening in the women's edition of the rugby. We're just trying to say that we want to support them. We want to do all that we must to make sure that the ladies have a reason to smile. And for today, Kimathi, you earlier told me that you have a reason as to why you have to make those ladies get a reason to smile. What exactly did you mean by that, Kimathi?
Moses, right now, it's all about the women's rugby sevens extravaganza here at the Impala Rugby Club grounds, where the second edition of the Impala Rugby Club Women's Sevens tournament is going on right now. The match going on my background is between the defending champions, Homeboys RFC and Northern Suburbs. Remember, these over 12 teams are participating in this competition. That is the women's teams, and there is two categories, the junior category and the senior categories. This is a tournament that has attracted top guns like Homeboys, Mombasa FC, Impala Saracens, who are the host, and also Nakuru and Kenyatta University. Earlier on, there were some matches that were played where the defending champions, Homeboys, thrashed Mombasa FC 17-0, and then Impala Saracens, the host, beat Northern Suburbs 38-0. In the junior category, there were some matches that also were played earlier on, where Moonlight were beaten by Hidden Talent Academy 45-0, and Comras beat Maono 12-0. Of course, this is just about growing the women's rugby talent in the country. Remember, women's rugby isn't as prioritized as it should be, or comparing with the men's rugby. Remember also last week where the Kenya National Rugby Series ended, there are also some women's team participating in the national series, but really nobody highlighted the women's matches, because again, nobody really gives them the insight they need. And we are here today to make sure that we support them. And now I'll be talking to the tournament's organizer, the former Kenya International Mary, just to talk about what this tournament is all about, how is the tournament so far, and the performances of the team so far. I'll also later on be speaking to Mwamba Women's Rugby Sevens coach, and also some of the key players, including the host Impala Saracens players. Mary, we are here today. What is this tournament all about?
Impala Rugby Sevens Women's Tournament. It's about giving space for women to play rugby, and that is why we select a day when even boys are not playing rugby, so that all their attention can be here today, so that one, we develop girls, and that is why we have the junior girls playing, the school category playing, and the senior club girls are playing. So that one, we have a pool of girls who the national team coach can select to go to the national team, and then at the grassroots we have the school girls trying to come up and play for clubs once they finish school.
Now, what would you say is this tournament is adding value coming to these girls, and also basically to the women's rugby growth, game growth in the country? What is the value that this tournament is adding to that?
First of all, I start by saying the national Lionesses, the Kenya Lionesses, are the African champions. What does that mean to us as a country? It means you're on top of Africa. So it means we have to have our basics rights from grassroots level, from girls, starting from high school, from primary to college to now club level. So that growth is very important for me. So today, as you can see, we're trying to strengthen those structures. That's why clubs are coming in to play and compete, to raise up their hands so that they can be called up national team assignment, national team. They can play for lessons and go and represent the country in other places. As Impala, apart from playing rugby for these girls, we also have mentorship programs where we deal with financial literacy. We talk to them about their sexuality. So you're looking at the whole person. At Impala, you look at the whole person, not just rugby, but also education. We sponsored a few girls, the high school education. Some girls, we sponsored them the tertiary level education. So it's the growth of the woman, because the woman is the mother of the family. The woman is one, once she's comfortable, the country will grow.
I know it's really difficult to get to convince these young ladies, especially these young ladies, to play in a game like rugby. You know, rugby is tough. It involves a lot of physicality. How hard is it to convince these players to sign in for these clubs and come here participate in this tournament?
Actually, the approach that we have used is called GIR, Get Into Rugby. And this approach is actually pioneered by World Rugby. And the basic of it is that when you're introducing rugby to high school or to new ladies or new girls, they don't go into tackles. They just play touch rugby, basic of rugby. They enjoy the game first. So by GIR, Get to Rugby, they start small, playing touch, loving the game. Then as they grow and learn the game, now they can play full-blown contact.
Now, going forward after this competition, because this is the second round of the competition, maybe going forward, what are the plans do you have to make sure you support the growth of the women's rugby at club level?
Thank you very much, Ken, for that question, because it's very it's a question that, first of all, you're having floodlights. Floodlights from the 13th of next month, we're having floodlights. And that's another occasion whereby girls will be able to come and play rugby. And we'll be playing 15s. We're going to organize the clubs in franchises so that the big clubs can lift the small clubs. So we're going to set up franchises of clubs, then we'll play franchises, and we'll play 15 setup in floodlights. And we'll invite you, by the way.
Thanks for the invitation. But also looking back last week at the Christie Sevens, the Kenya National Sevens series circuit ended. There were some women's team participating in that competition, but really it didn't get as much highlights comparing the boys teams. Where do you think that maybe you're getting it wrong on the side of women's rugby? Because again, some people say maybe it's not as exciting comparing with the men's ones. That's why they aren't really showing up on supporting the women like the way they show up to support the men's team. And for obvious reasons, men's rugby has been in this country for the longest time. If you look at a number of clubs in Nairobi who are playing rugby, men clubs, I think there are over even 20 clubs playing rugby, in terms of men playing rugby. If you look at schools, they have the Prescott Cup, they have this cup, they have Damuchanga. So the men's and the boys rugby in this country is well organized and there are more numbers. Hence, when you have a tournament, they'll show up. But for women, you see, we're still trying to grow the game. Hence, we're still trying to build it. And that's why I think it's very important that you are here. So to build it, people get to know about women playing rugby, about developing girls to play rugby as another sport, and they can grow with it and take it away. Okay, thanks, Mary. Now, Moses, that was Mary, a former Kenya Rugby Sevens international. Just talking about what's the aim of today's tournament. It's all about growing, making sure that we support and grow the women's rugby in the country. Now, I'll be joined by Mwamba RFC coach, who later, earlier on, lost to Homeboys. Coach, you lost on your first match against Homeboys. Why do you think you got it wrong tactically?
Basically, the players gave it their all, but there was a problem with the basics. We made some little mistakes, such as the knock-ons. But going into this game, the second game with Impala, we are hoping to improve and everything, and then execute our game plan.
Now, coming to this competition, of course, you didn't have it in your mind that you would lose to the defending champions, but now you've lost it. Do you feel that this might tamper with the girls' mental strength going forward to the next matches, bearing in mind that they are really young girls?
We've taught our girls to always let go of that which has passed and focus on that which is ahead. So going into this game, I know it will not be a problem to them, because I'm 100% sure that we'll meet Homeboys at the finals and we'll be able to redeem ourselves and get the trophy.
Now, losing without even one try, where do you think you got it wrong in terms of attack? Because you didn't score even one try.
Yes, basically at the moment I have some injuries. I have my power runners not playing, but that's not an excuse. I think I'll just work on my wings, employ the end-to-end games, and then later on I can employ maybe another tactic to break the defense.
Going forward, are you looking maybe to recover from the loss against Homeboys? You're going to face a very strong side who are the host. They are at home. They have the crowd support. They are really a good team, Impala. And your boys are... So going to that match, to the semi-final match against Impala, how are you going to approach that?
With my team, I've put all my strength. So with Impala, they should expect that there will be very big hits, and my runners also at the one other side, at the farthest end of the other side. So Impala should just expect that my runners will be coming on ruthlessly and hard on them.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Now, Moses, that was Mombasa FC Women's Rugby Sevens team head coach. Just talking about their performance, them losing the first game against the defending champions, Homeboys, and now they are going to face Impala Saracens. That is the women's team in the semi-finals of this competition. I'll be updating you on what's happening here from the game that is going on right the semi-final match, and also between the Impala and Mwamba match that is going to kick off in the next few minutes. When we come back later on, when you be talking to some of the players, Homeboys players, and also Mwamba and Impala Saracens players. Back to you, Moses.
Thank you very much, Kevin Kimathi there, just telling us how important it is to nurture and also curb that talent when we think about the ladies' side of rugby. There is a lot that is happening also for the ladies, and we wish them all the best as they just try to make sure that they become the queens of rugby, not only in Kenya but also along the continent. There is a lot that's happening. Let's talk football. Kariobangi Sharks, I know they are in the Shield semi-finals, and for them their test will be against Ulinzi Stars. It was not an easy task for them to get there, but they had an impressive outing. Remember winning against Gor Mahia, it was penalties. They won it 4-2. Now they're saying we know that the test is a totally different test altogether, and we believe we have the machine, we have the arsenal and everything to make us go out there and win the semi-finals and go to the finals. And trust you me, they want to win their 4th title.
Kariobangi Sharks will be seeking a 2nd successive appearance in the Football Kenya Federation Shield Cup. But in their way stands Ulinzi Stars, who they face in the semi-finals. Sharks eliminated Kenya Premier League champions Gor Mahia in the quarter-finals, a move that boosted morale in Coach William Muluya's camp. Despite playing 2 matches in a span of 4 days, Sharks remain unfazed in their pursuit of the cup.
The last 2 years, we were 3rd place. This time round, actually, it will be fair enough for us to win it.
Sharks lost in the opening leg of the season off to the Soldier before settling for a 1-1 draw in the return leg in the league. Despite a plunging performance during the month of August, where they lost 5 Premier League matches in a row, Coach Muluya's side hoped their recent upsurge in form will propel them to the cup final.
We have to go back to drawing board, tukaona tunaweza fanya nini tuchukue hizo points. So ile time tuliweza take chances naye tulianza win game.
Eric Kapaito is one of the players who has impressed this season for Sharks, and going into the cup semi-final, he feels the pressure will be on their opponents.
Ni wase tough na but pia na sisi tuko ready, so ball ni kwa uwanja.
Sharks will take on Ulinzi Stars on Sunday 23rd September, while the other semi-final will see AFC Leopards take on Sofapaka. Rochuno Kwonyike, KTN Sports.
The other semi-finals, it will all be about Sofapaka, who will try as much as possible to get that victory. And for Sofapaka, it is a test against the AFC Leopards. Also semi-finals at Batoto Pamungu on their side is saying, we believe that we have everything on our side to be able to down Sofapaka. Maybe the AFC Leopards. Maybe the big cats wanted more, but for Sofapaka, they believe that everything will go their way and they will be able to get that victory and sail to the finals.
Sofapaka will be seeking their first title in a span of 4 years, but a tough task lies ahead as they must see off defending champions AFC Leopards to reach the final.
Na ukiangalia kwa hizi miaka 3 tumetaka, lakini hatakuwa tunaweza sema tulikuwa na ile nguvu ya timu ya kisasa ya kushinda. Lakini sasa hivi naweza sema timu iko tayari, timu ambayo ukiangalia kila sehemu imesimama imara. Kwa hivyo kulingana sisi tuna matumaini makubwa ya kuweza kupata kombe.
Batoto Bamungu eliminated Tusker FC in the quarter-finals and went ahead to thrash Kakamega Homeboys 4-1 in a Premier League match on Wednesday to make it 2 wins in a row. A run that has boosted morale in John Baraza's camp.
The Sofa team is in a good shape. I think every player is in a good shape. Like we prepared very well, we had a very good training with our coaches. I think every player is set for the game on weekend.
Despite being bundled out in the round of 16 in 2017, players remain adamant that they will emerge victorious against Ingwe, the 8-time champions.
Kiangalia vile team sasa imejisaik after kupata hiyo win ya juzi. Ndasema mazoezi imekuwa port na jipush kutoka jana. Juu tunajua FC pia si timu rahisi. Ni moja ya timu kubwa hapa Kenya. So nadhani itakuwa game poa.
Hii season inaisha, unaona ligi tujakuwa vizuri. So tunategemea hii Go TV though tuna respect pia FC.
Kila game tunatrainia kushinda, hata zetu tulishindwa tulikuwa tunatrainia kushinda. So saa zote kocha akiprepare team tunaendea win.
The other semi-final will see Kariobangi Sharks lock horns with Ulinzi Stars at the same venue.
Not an easy one for any of those teams, but they will try as much as possible to see if they will be able to get that victory. This is what looks like when we talk about the Shield Cup fixtures. The Shield Cup fixtures are only 2 matches on the cards, and that is the Kariobangi Sharks against Ulinzi Stars, and the other match will be Sofapaka against AFC Leopards. So there will be a lot of expectation from all these sides, and they'll try as much as possible to see if they will be able to bag those victory. For Kariobangi Sharks, I know they have sailed there at the expense of Gor Mahia. Maybe one will say they have an added advantage against the Ulinzi Stars, but trust you me, not an easy one to call. So for Sofapaka, on their side, they were able to down Tusker 2-1 to be able to get to this stage, and they will have to try as much as possible to get a win against AFC Leopards to go to that final. It's not an easy one for either of those teams. For Bandari on the other side, remember for Bandari they had some issues, the gun drama against Zoo Kericho in their Kenyan Premier League tie, and the Bandari tactician, the Bandari players, team manager, they're all saying that we should not at any particular time have all this when we have the football matches, and they believe that justice will prevail.
Tuna imani kwamba uchunguzi utafanywa na jambo la kutia nguvu ama ya kutuongezea ile confidence ya kwamba mechi ama viwanja ziko na usalama ya kutosha zitafanyika, na hatutakuwa na wasiwasi wowote tutakapoenda katika mechi yetu nyingine. Sisi letu ni kuweza kuomba mashabiki wetu waweze kutokea katika mechi zetu za hapa nyumbani, na wale ambao wanaweza kusafiri na sisi waweze kusafiri na sisi, kwa sababu tuko katika hali zile za mwisho za kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba tumetokea na nafasi ya pili.
Yeah, they're a confident player there, and for them, their question is simple. They will try as much as possible to star in the Kenyan Premier League. They know that the other teams are chasing, and he's still saying that we know what we have to do. We know how we're going to face the matches that we'll be playing, and for them this weekend it is against Nakumat. So they know exactly how that test will be, and what they want is the maximum points, 3 points, in that outing.
Kutoka kwa management, kutoka kwa makocha ambao tumekuwa nao wote wawili, yule ambaye aliondoka Ken Odhiambo na kocha ambaye alituchukua mpya Bernard Mwalala. Kumekuwa na usikilizano mzuri baina ya wachezaji na wakufunzi, na nafikiri hiyo saswa, hiyo kuelewana vizuri ndio imechangia sana kuleta matokeo mazuri katika timu yetu. Sisi msimu kabla ulipoanza tulikuwa tumeweka malengo yetu ili kuweza kumaliza katika 8 bora, na naona kwamba lengo hilo ni kama litatimia, na kwa vile tuko katika nafasi ya pili kwa muda huu, tunataka tuweze, kama ni mbaya tumalize katika nafasi hiyo, manake ni uwezo ambao upo na tutaenda kuipigania ili tuweze kuipata.
Nilisikia furaha sana
kwa sababu matumaini ya kila mchezaji ni kucheza kwa timu yake na zaidi ya yote ili mradi aweze kuitwa timu ya taifa.
It always feels good to play in the national team, and the goalkeeper there having made that cut, so we wish him all the best. At the same time, we wish Harambee Stars all the best as they prepare for the different international matches that are on the cards. Nick Mwandwa is not a happy man because he's saying Sebastian Minye has not been paid for 2 months now, and trust me, Sebastian Minye has just tried to transform football here in the country. Finance always a big issue, and for the football lovers in the country, maybe it will be able to affect the results of the team because the tactician has not been receiving his dues. But the Football Kenya Federation President Nick Mwandwa is saying that the government has said they will come in and they'll aid us out. Maybe Sebastian Minye will have a reason to smile.
Lakini kujiuliza tu vile nimeuliza siku zilizopita, sisi kama wa Kenya tunataka vipi? Tunataka mchezo mzuri, tunataka kujenga, ama tunataka kuharibu viti kwa viwanja, mabunduki viwanja? Tunataka nini? Kuna shida katika jamii yetu. Mimi nikiangalia hakuna kocha ambaye mambo huenda vile anavyotaka kila saa. Hizi ni shirikisho na government. Kuna challenges lazima ziwe. Nafikiri challenge kubwa ni mambo yake ya mshahara. Tumeshamlipa miezi mbili hajalipwa. Government vile nimekuambia kuna shida ya pesa, na tumeongea nao, wamesema watamlipa hizo miezi. Wamesema hivi karibuni.
Now, Sony Sugar assistant captain Enos Gwanda has become the first player in the Kenyan Premier League to win the Player of the Month 2 times in a row. For him, he's been instrumental for Sony Sugar. He's done a lot for the Sony Sugar team, and he's aided his side in the recent outing. Enos Gwanda, for him, he has played for different clubs. Remember him at Gor Mahia, remember him at Sofapaka. So he has had an impressive outing, and this time out, he is the man to beat. For him, he's saying that I know what I'm supposed to do, but I will try as much as possible to aid my team as much as I can. The striker actually netted his first goal of the month in the 3-1 victory that they had against Thika United.
Mali tulikuwa tunataka sima players tulikuwa tunataka tuchukue namba, kama ni mbaya tukae top 5, but sasa tuko number 10. But I hope hizi games zimebaki hakuna kitu ngumu.
Yes, for him, he's a happy man, and we wish him all the best. He will continue to score those goals, maybe something that might aid him to go to the national team because of his impressive outing in the Kenyan Premier League. Now, the Kenyan Premier League menu is still out there, and we have a host of matches. All the different teams will be trying as much as possible to see if they will be able to rack in some positive results. For Bandari, the test is against Nakumatt FC, and we've had the players are saying that they know what exactly they are supposed to do, so they will try as much as possible to see if they will be able to get the 3 points. Sony Sugar on their side, maybe Agwanda will be on the mark again. They will have to play against Chemilil Sugar, also an impressive Sugar derby there, so we will see who exactly will be able to get that victory. Posta Rangers, for them, it is a tight affair against Vihiga United. Vihiga United, a side that has been breathing cold and warm at the same time, so you never know exactly what they have in store, and that tells you never know exactly what that game will bring. On Sunday, it's only 2 matches. Wazito FC will have to play against Zukericho, while Nzoia Sugar on their side will have that test against Thika United. When we talk about the standings, we know that Gor Mahia, they are the champions, and they did it with some impressive fashion. Right now, they have 71 points. Bandari FC, they have a lot on their cards because their players are saying, we want to finish on the 2nd position of this Kenyan Premier League. They know the other guys are chasing, but you never know. You see, they have a game in hand, so that tells you they might be able to finish on the 2nd position. AFC Leopards, Ulinzi Stars, Sofapaka on the other side, they follow. But when you think about the teams that are struggling on the Kenyan Premier League the most, you will have Thika United in mind because they are the whooping boys in the Premier League this time out, and a lot looks like they might be going down. Wazito FC on the other side, Not that merry of a season for them, but they are the second last. Chemelil Sugar also and Vihiga United, you can see where they are, so it tells you there are other teams that also need to stand out and have some impressive results, but it never is that easy. There will be other matches in the National Super League, and for the National Super League, it's all about the quest for the teams that will be trying as much as possible to see if they will be able to come back to the Kenyan Premier League. So for the National Super League ties, all the matches for the National Super League, we have St. Joseph Youth that will be playing against Modern Coast. So for Modern Coast has not had the best of seasons. They have tried this time out to have an impressive outings, but they always struggle. Kibera Black Stars will play against Ushuru. Remember, for Ushuru actually had a pretty impressive outing, but things never are not going actually their way, because a lot of people are saying that Ushuru will be promoted to the Kenyan Premier League come next season, but it doesn't look that easy for them at the moment. So that is where they are. For Kenya Police, they will be playing against Kisumu All Stars, while Kangemi All Stars will be playing against Migori. So there will be actually 9 matches today. So the other matches that will be played, Coastal Steamer will be playing against Administration Police. Green Commandos will have that tie against Western Steamer. Western Steamer have quite had an impressive outing so far. Bidco United will be playing against FC Talanta. Very quickly, before we take a break, just the standing. Western Steamer tops the log there in the National Super League. So for Western Steamer, it seems they're doing things the way they're supposed to do. So most probably they will be promoted, but you never know what exactly will happen before the other matches. KCB, Nairobi Steamer, Ushuru and Bidco follows suit, but down the bottom end, it's all about GFE and how they have been struggling, and also Nakuru All Stars. So it tells you that things are not that merry for either of this side. So the race to promotion, the race to come back to the Kenyan Premier League, is it a tight one? But Western Steamer, it seems that they're dancing their way, and maybe things will go their way, and they might be in the Kenyan Premier League come next season. At this point, we'll take a short commercial break, but when we come back, there is still a lot that is happening in the country, and also a lot that will be happening in the English Premier League. Remember, we'll be broadcasting the live match at Liverpool against Southampton later on, but we'll have that and much more after this short commercial break.